Chapter 9. Trade. Try this. Obtain the following information. Make a list of commodities which you use daily. We daily use commodities like grocery, clothes, soaps, toothpaste, talcum, cosmetics, furniture, etc. Who uses these commodities? All family members use these commodities. Write the source of the supplies of these commodities. All these commodities are supplied through mall or supermarket. From where do you buy these commodities? We buy all these commodities from shops, novelties, malls, supermarket, etc. What do you call the act of buying and selling? The act of buying and selling is called as trade. What does the shopkeeper take in lieu of the commodity? The shopkeeper takes money in lieu of the commodity. From where do these commodities come to the market? From where have you bought them, and what is their main source? Obtain this information and write it against the commodities in the list. Hold a discussion in the class about the obtained information. Geographical Explanation. On the basis of the information obtained above, you will realize that we buy the goods we need from the shops, markets, or malls around us. Generally, the sellers of these goods are not the manufacturers of the goods. They bring these commodities from somewhere. It is not necessary that these commodities are manufactured in our surroundings. They are manufactured at places very far away. They could be first brought by retail sellers from wholesale market, factories, agricultural product market committees, etc., and then they reach us. Wholesale market is the market where producers sell their products to big traders. At these markets, traders or consumers who want to buy in retail do not turn up generally. Market committees. Market committees have been established to facilitate sale of the products by producers and buying by traders at one place. As farming is done in extensive areas, the marketing of the farm products through market committees becomes feasible. Find out. You get products from other places. Similarly, find out where the special products or items made in your village or city are sent. We have various needs in our day-to-day life. We buy various things to satisfy these wants. When we buy them, we create a demand for them. Demand, the measure of goods or services which consumers are ready to buy at a specific price, is called demand. The price of the goods or services can change according to demand. To fulfill the demand for these products, the production of these goods is carried out. The producer supplies these goods. In other words, he sells them to wholesale trader. Producer is one who produces. One who obtains products with the help of natural or artificial processes is called producer. Thus, the buying and selling of goods is done to fulfill each other's needs. These who purchase are the consumers of the goods. The producer produces and the sellers sell the goods. Buyers and sellers buy and sell the goods respectively. Buyer is the consumer who pays in exchange of a good or service. This is called trade. Trade is an important economic activity. The economic life of the people is interdependent. No region or country is self-sufficient. Trade between two regions is necessary to fulfill the needs of the people. As each region has different geographical conditions, each region produces specific commodities. If there is a paucity of a commodity, then there is demand for that commodity. The place where it is abundant provides the supply of the commodity. Thus, supply is done from regions producing excess commodities to regions facing deficit according to the demand. Deficit means situation arising when supply is less than its demand. For example, apples produced in Jammu and Kashmir are sent to other states of India having a demand for it. Geographical explanation. In the above instances, when there is buying and selling of goods, it is called visible trade. Visible trade, the type of trade in which goods are bought and sold, or a trade in which the exchanged goods can be seen, is known as visible trade. On the other hand, when there is an exchange of services, it is called invisible trade. Invisible trade is a trade in which exchange of goods does not occur. Service trade is an example of invisible trade. Tourism is also a type of invisible trade. Types of trade. Types of trade are on the basis of quantity of goods or on the basis of the extent of trade region. On the basis of quantity of goods, there is wholesale trade and retail trade. While on the basis of the extent of trade region, there is domestic or internal trade and international or external trade. A. According to the quantity of goods. Depending on the quantity of goods, there are two types of trade: wholesale and retail. Wholesale trade. Traders buy commodities on a large scale directly from the producers. The commodities are also sold on a large scale to retail traders. This is called wholesale trading. Wholesale traders buy goods on a large scale from industrialists, farmers, etc. For example, the orchard owners of mangoes or oranges sell their entire production to wholesale traders. Retail trade. When the traders buy goods from wholesale traders and sell it directly to consumers, then it is known as retail trading. Retailers are the link between wholesale traders and consumers or customers. Retail traders buy goods from wholesale traders and make them available to the consumers. The quantity of goods sold is less in this case. For example, the shopkeepers selling goods, vegetable vendors in markets, etc. B. According to the extent of region. The buying and selling of goods happens at various levels. On that basis, trade can be divided into local, regional, national, and international trade. Domestic trade or internal trade. Internal trade means exchange of goods and services within the subdivisions of a region. This trade takes place between different regions within the same country. The size of the country, diversity, distribution, and availability of natural resources affect the internal trade within the country. The size of population, transport and communication services, the living standard of the people, marketing system lead to a large-scale internal trade. In India, factors like diversity in geographical conditions and high population also affect the domestic trade. A country's development is dependent on the extent of the domestic trade. If there is a good economic growth, then trade will also be more. Thus, there is a positive relation between economic growth and trade. International trade. International trade means the exchange of goods and services of one country with other countries. Some countries produce specific products in excess. For example, crude oil in Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, and wheat production in the USA, Canada, etc. These products are sent to countries having demand for those goods. This leads to the beginning of international trade. When international trade takes place between two countries, it is bilateral trade. When it occurs between more than two countries, It is called multilateral trade. Export and import. Export and import are the basic processes of international trade. When a country buys those goods and services which are scarce in their own country from another country, it is known as import. When a country produces excess goods or services than required, it sells these to countries which have a demand for it. This is called export.